My name is Connor. What's up, guys? And I'm bringing you a little double MOAB fail. I believe it's on Lockdown, my personal favorite map on Modern Warfare 3. At least I think it's my personal favorite. It's close between that and Hard Hat. Little double MOAB fail. I get a 26 gun streak, and then I believe the game ends while I'm on a 21-ish. So that really sucks. But anyway, let's get right into what I want to talk about. It's not really about the gameplay in the background, but I do hope you enjoy it. I want to talk about the skill gap in Call of Duty. And this is one of the reasons, actually, Call of Duty, in my opinion, is such a big, I don't know what you want to call it, a big gaming, entertainment, game, whatever the heck I'm trying to say. It's such a big industry. It's not really its own industry. It's such a big factor in the gaming industry, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's the reason Call of Duty has become so popular, whereas Halo, for example, died out, or Counter-Strike never really took off as the same way. And I know there's different games like Medal of Honor and that Tom Clancy Splinter Cell. I mean, there's tons of different games that never really took off the way Call of Duty did. And one of the reasons, I believe, is because of the skill gap, or the lack thereof of a skill gap. Which is, for good players, for actual good or above average players, having such a small skill gap is such a pain in the butt. For those players that kind of suck, or they're new and they're just not very good yet, the skill gap is just awesome. It's the reason they're still playing this game. It's the reason they're playing this and not Battlefield, not Medal of Honor, not Splinter Cell, even though Splinter Cell is not a thing anymore, I don't think, not Counter-Strike. It's the reason they play this game, or Dota. I know Dota's another one. Everyone plays Call of Duty because it's awesome, first off. I mean, it's a lot of fun. It's really annoying, but it's a lot of fun. But the skill gap is so small that players, and they compress the skill gap so much that players that are horrible have so many different avenues and ways to make them actually halfway decent at the game. Now, it's obviously still there. If you're just like the first time you've ever played, or you don't know what you're doing, you're obviously going to do super, super horrible. But the learning curve is so much faster in Call of Duty than other games due to a factor of different things I kind of want to talk about. And it's weird because the skill gap is different and different. The skill gap is there in all Call of Duties, but it's different, and it can be on totally different ends of the spectrum. And what I mean is, in a game like Ghost, for example, Ghost that just kills the skill gap, I believe, in the biggest way possible. It just absolutely smashes the skill gap for a variety of different reasons, but I think one of the biggest ones is just how powerful the guns are and how freaking fast they just kill people. It's just unreal how fast it happens. The maps are huge, so that people rushing around, it's a lot harder for rushers, and typically good players do run around more. So it caters a lot towards the players that kind of sit back. There's so many different head glitching spots and different things like that, and the guns just kill so dang fast that the skill gap is obviously going to be super small because the player doesn't have to keep their accuracy for very long. The accuracy, it can take them 2 or 3 bullets and you're dead, and you don't even have to. I mean, you can be spraying back and forth and hit them with 2 or 3 bullets if you get lucky. So that's one way that the skill gap can get crushed and compressed. Another way, on the total opposite end of the spectrum, is a game like Black Ops 2, which is interesting because Black Ops 2 is super easy. It's just the easiest Call of Duty. I mean, let's be honest. The easiest Call of Duty out there, followed closely by Black Ops 1. Something about Treyarch and them just kind of killing that skill gap. But they do it in a totally different way than Ghost did. Ghost, maybe it's really not all that much different, because Ghost is super easy for bad players, and it caters towards them. Whereas Black Ops 2 is just super easy for everyone. And what I mean by that is, like, good players, the best gameplays you will ever find on Call of Duty, non-spawn trapping, not counting those, are on Black Ops 2. That's a fact. I promise you that the best gameplays you find will be on Black Ops 2. To be completely honest, getting 100 kills in Black Ops 2 is not very impressive at all. Getting like massive 40, 50 KDs, while these are still good gameplays, don't get me wrong, I'm not taking away from anyone that got these, they're just not near as impressive as it would be to, say, get them in, say, Modern Warfare 3, or even Modern Warfare 2 would be the most impressive in my opinion, or Ghost would be really impressive to do that well, just because bad players can kill you so easily. But somehow Black Ops 2 managed to they took maybe the right steps to killing the skill gap, as I don't believe, sorry, I didn't play Black Ops 2 a ton, I wasn't a huge fan, but I don't believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that there are death streaks. There is still second chance, or whatever they call it, which is super annoying, and it's basically the same thing, but they don't really have death streaks, which is one good way to help expand the skill gap again, because bad players Modern Warfare 2 was the most notorious for their death streaks. I mean, Painkiller was really the one you saw the most, and that was just such a pain in the butt. And then Modern Warfare 3 decides to take out Painkiller and put in freaking Dead Man's Hand, which is just ridiculous. And so those two kill streaks can help. Someone who's terrible can die if you're doing really well. This is what doesn't make sense to me. You're doing super well, you're playing, and you're getting the score you deserve because you're playing this well, super well, and say you're on a 23 kill streak and you're running around just mowing kids down, but you've killed this kid like 6 times in a row. All of a sudden, the next time you kill him, he either has Painkiller, so you don't kill him because you can't, or he kills you with Dead Man's Hand, which totally, now all of a sudden he got a kill he didn't deserve, and you got a death you didn't deserve either. And that's one way that the skill gap can just kind of get smashed. But in Black Ops 2, which is just way too easy in my opinion, but that's a whole, Call of Duty being too easy is just a whole nother topic for another day. But in that game, it does take a decent amount of bullets to kill people, at least compared to the Ghosts and the Modern Warfares. It takes a couple more bullets to kill people, which allows the good players to get just exorbitant scores and just crazy high scores because they can keep their accuracy on the person long enough that they die before the other person can kill them, whereas someone that's horrible can't really keep their accuracy on for a long enough period of time to kill the good player, which just helps the good player get away from tons of gun battles and win tons of gunfights that you wouldn't normally win. But on the other hand, somehow, some way, it's still easy enough, which I didn't play Black Ops 2 enough, to be honest with you, to actually make a good judgment on this, so I can't go too in-depth for it. But even bad players do well in Black Ops 2. I can't tell you exactly why. It just seems like the skill gap might be there, but it's compressed in the sense that bad players do way better than they should be. Good players also do way better than they should be doing. The game is way too easy as a whole, in my opinion, which is just another way it can compress the skill gap. So the game being too easy in itself can compress the skill gap because bad players, and everyone, really, everyone can do better than they should be. But it's a little bit bigger of a jump from someone who, let's just say someone should be going 5 and 15. Now all of a sudden, say they're going 15 and 20, whereas a good player goes from, say, getting 70 kills, 70 and 20. I mean, that's a pretty high KD, but they're going 70 and 20. Now all of a sudden, maybe their average is 121, so, or 118 even. So what I'm saying is, so the bad player now has 3 times as many kills as they should be getting, whereas the good player only got 30% more kills than he normally did. So sorry, throwing a little math at you now, but so everyone hates math, but so the bad player increased 3 times better than he should be. Good player only 30%, which is why that compresses the skill gap as well. And the skill gap is really just this massive marketing ploy for Activision to be able to sell their Call of Duty, because if bad players sucked, they would never stay in long enough to play. And so this is just a huge predicament and that I don't even really know how to answer. I wish the skill gap was different. I think Modern Warfare 2, gun-wise, had a great skill gap. Good players did really well, and they just got screwed over by death streaks. That's the same in Modern Warfare 3. The spawns aren't horrible in those games. The spawns are halfway decent. Ghost, the spawns kind of suck, which is another way Ghost makes it where, like, you're killing people. These maps are so big, all of a sudden they spawn on the other side of the map and you're screwed. Whereas in Modern Warfare 3 and Modern Warfare 2, you can predict the spawns a little better, which doesn't factor into the skill gap as much, because good players know where the spawn is, which will make them even better, which is how it should be, in my opinion. A good player that knows the spawns should be doing even better than he would if he didn't know the spawns, and the spawns shouldn't be screwing the new player over, which they still do occasionally. Don't get me wrong, the spawns will occasionally screw you over, but not as often as they do in a game such as Ghost. The death streaks, another thing, kill the skill gap. If Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 got rid of death streaks and maybe a couple other guns that are just a little too overpowered. I mean, the UMP in Modern Warfare 2 with the same damage with the silencer is a little ridiculous. The 3-shot burst guns in Modern Warfare 3, yeah, are just, for something, they kill you so fast it gets kind of annoying. The MP7's really good, which I don't mind. I use it a ton, I'm not gonna lie. And so I'm sorry, I'm not watching the video. I might be using it in this video. I don't know. I use it all the time. So there's different ways to kill the skill gap. They're never going to kill the skill gap, even though I wish they do. I want to know what your guys' thoughts are on the skill gap. If you like it being there, if it's needed to, or if you rather bad players do really bad until they get good. Once they get good, then all of a sudden now they can progress into good players who now kill and absolutely destroy all the players that were doing really bad, which is how I wish it was. I wish the good players got rewarded just immensely. I wish the game was kind of like a Modern Warfare 3, but maybe took another bullet or two to kill people, like in Black Ops, I think that'd make a great game with no death streaks, and I think that'd just be a ton of fun. That's how I wish Call of Duty would be, but maybe you wish the skill gap was even closer, and you like the death streaks, the noob tubes, the things like that that compress the skill gap. I just like to know what you think. Have a great day, guys. Thanks for watching.